Commission said they have to enlarge the area from 20 to 100 kilometers. This is not that, because now they have understood that the old concept is not working anymore, but even we can say this still is not sufficient, because what does it mean? They don't have the preparedness of the tablets, they don't have the preparedness of the medicines. And in Germany there is a special commission. I have not heard much about them before. Eine Schutzkommission beim Bundesministerium des Inneren. Das ist a kind of general catastrophe protection commission. And these are just said in February this year that the total model of preparedness was based in Germany that you have sufficient time to prepare, and the emission of radioactivity is coming out of only for a short time. And Fukushima has said just the contrary, it's just different. And so the recommendation of an official commission from the German Ministry of the Internal Affairs is to say, we have to change all these preparedness plans, especially the preparedness in the medical sector. The hospitals, there was an inquiry from International Organization for Health, WHO, in Germany, and the hospitals, some answered not. And the hospitals answered, we are not prepared. And one should know that a medicine person responsible for irradiation by Röntgen radiation for your bones, this is not the same as radioactivity. In Germany ist ein Strahlenarzt ist dann also kein Röntgenarzt. Ja. So they didn't find out that there's a difference. So we can really say Germany is not prepared. And our question is to say, are we asking for a better plan, or we would just put say the condition that they must be prepared, because the permission to run a nuclear power plant is based on law, based on the question that there should be a sufficient, whatever this is, a sufficient emergency plan. And this is not there. So this is coming that we say they will be helpless. Some of them people really say that they really are helpless. We had a meeting with a man, he's the chief of the German Technisches Hilfswerk, chief of the German Technical Assistance Association, providing in Germany and helping in all kinds of big catastrophes, floodings, fires, and what else. And he said it's coming more dangerous than you think before. And he is just saying, the chief of this organization, that Germany is not prepared. The problem we only have in Germany, that more and more people say, not only friend of the earth, say we are not prepared. The question is that there is nobody doing the consequences. For instance, here you have just a detail, this is different in Luxemburg. You have on the left the dots. We have in Germany central places, a few 15 central places where the iodine tablets are stored. So if something happens, they first have to bring the tablets to the place, and then you have to distribute this. And you can imagine that this will not work. Yeah. And so this is to say you have to look into these plans, and I have done to show that they will not work and they cannot work. This is just for you to get access to the internet from the Max Planck Institute in Mainz. Also, they have made an emergency calculation and how far goes, how far the fallout will go, and that only a few. This is the calculation from this institute. Only 8% of cesium will fall out within 50 kilometer diameter and 50% within 1,000. So the MPG in Mainz. This is not only important for having this calculation, but also to say more and more recognized, renovated institutes are making such kind of calculation, because some of them have done different things before. This is also the Bundesamt für Strahlenschutz making the calculation for a case in northern Germany to say where can the radioactivity go. And when you know that the circles, the inner circle is 5, you cannot see 5 kilometers, 20, the outer is I think 100 kilometers, and you see the radioactivity goes to 100 kilometer radius and even more far away. And their sentence is that the radiation threshold of 100 millisievert must be lowered. Yeah. Because at the moment, Germany is relying on an evacuation threshold value, where even the value of 20 millisievert in Japan was lower, and the threshold for evacuation in Chernobyl was lower. This was also a message, a very actual message from the international association, IPPNW, NW from the medicines, and they have said also that the German threshold is too high, and the German Radiation Protection Commission is responsible for many people hurt from an accident if it's happened. So they also have launched at the end of April also a message to say this threshold is too low, and then if the threshold is too low, you have to do more, and you have to prepare all the hospitals in this region, you have to do all the schools, and you have to do much more, and you have to pay for much more, and the company they have to play. And this is the problem. We say a controllable risk is not any more reliable concept. This is also a reason for immediate shutdown. This is a question of heuristics. We have to look also at this question. On the other hand, we, friend of the earth, have a plan to say would be possible in Germany now to have a nuclear phase out until September 2017. September 2017 has only the reason that's the next federal election, but to say until the next election it is possible to get out. And if the suppliers don't want to have these power stations, we want to say, okay, the state can take the nuclear power stations, but only for the reason to shut it down as soon as possible. But also we should note that the risk is not away. On the places where nuclear power stations are, we have this so-called intermediate storage. For many years, we don't know how long they will have this intermediate storage, Zwischenlager. This intermediate storage, there was a court decision for the power station in Brunsbüttel. They could not show that the security is sufficient for concerning airplane crash and the attack with weapons from outside. So this also shows that these storages are not safe enough. And so the question is, on one hand, to say an insufficient plan for emergency and preparedness is a very good and very essential argument to shut down the power station. But on the other hand, we could say we need it anyway. We need it because nuclear waste and the problems still are there. So medical beds preparing hospitals, but the top company has to pay for it. And this is now the problem in Germany because the value of the companies is going down rather steeply. So E.ON in RWE, the value on the stock exchange is only less than half, only 1/3 they had some years before. So the problem is, will there be the money from the companies to pay for these consequences? This is just a drawing I would go not into detail, but in the combination of efficiency, cogeneration, wind power, photovoltaics, and real good politics, it's possible. And you see on the top over here, this is nuclear power, and could be first with efficiency, first nuclear power, then coal, and then renewable energy will take over. So this is just a scenario. But there are also different institutions, Fraunhofer institutes, they make a much more detailed calculation to show that this is possible. And so we should talk also about the cost of the risk and the preparedness and the emergency planning. And the emergency preparedness means to say you have all this equipment, all the infrastructure, the people, the training and the baths and the hospitals and not a bunker in Belgium. The question is the money. The companies say they have reserves for this, but the German Federal Audit Court, der Bundesrechnungshof, in 2010 was saying actually the official financial tax bodies cannot say if the energy companies have reliable reserves for nuclear power cases. There is a lack of information and specialized knowledge in these offices. So in the tax office of Germany, they don't know what happens. The German Federal Audit Court thinks that there should be necessary that state offices should be able to do comprehensive controls. Practice shows that this is contrary to the estimation of the German Ministry of Economy, actually not possible. So that means that the German financial institutions don't really know what happens. In the newspaper today you can read that 36 billion euros. The press is writing, but the German Federal Court of Control says no, we don't really know where the money is. The money is invested in coal power or what else, I don't know. Though this is very important to say to the public that even the German Ministry and the German tax control does not know. We have always said we want to have a national fund about this, but this fund should be still based on the question the polluter has to pay this. So one should also not forget the liability, the Haftpflichtversicherung. We were also asking with insurance companies, would it be possible to make insurance for nuclear power stations? And they were saying first no, and if you would do it, then it would be so costly that kilowatt hour would cost 1 or 2 euros. But still this is a problem that this is known, but it's not put into practice. And the same is for the stress test. We know that there are huge costs for making the retrofit, the modernization of the power station, if it would be possible. But even this is not done. Yeah, we are not asking for as an environmental organization, but on the other hand, in the official way of thinking, would say there is a stress test, then you have to do something. And we will go until 2018, there will not be hardened core. Will not be. No, this is only simulation what they are doing, but everybody is running a small power plant in the home or in a hospital, cogeneration plant or wind power. All these people have to pay for liability, they have to pay for the insurance. Nuclear power don't have to pay for this. That's all this is the slogan to say we need to stress the real costs must be taken into account, must be paid by the energy company and not be shifted to the state. And so, otherwise the risk cost, this is happening now, the risk is controlled by the companies, it's not controlled by independent bodies. I'm just adding for the